to
Sits right there on the screen. So seeking general information, or concerned about someone, or seeking help for yourself.
Yeah. So that's what we are trying to accomplish, and we need to get the resources for that. And I did send out the list of the resources that we currently have in the 211 database to the participants of the last phone call. So if anybody's new in this phone call and you want to get that list, please let me know and I'll send it out to you too. But if you know of any resources out there that were not on the list, please let me know so that I could so that we can approach them to try to get them into the database. And we also may need your help in us to get the resources into the database, as far as approaching them and saying, hey, you need to be part of this group and of this database so that we can provide the service. I think that's all I had.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah. We sent this document around, and this is the working flow chart and details. And thank you, Marioli, for the introduction. My name's Jonathan, and I'm with Educational Message Services and PreventionPays Text, and we've been doing work, as Marioli said, for quite some time in various ways. And one of the ways that we provide texting services is we help a lot of the 211s, and the 211s use text for day-to-day communication. Anything from I need help with a food bank, or I need help finding shelter, or I need help with childcare. So as you well know, 211 is kind of that gateway to those resources. And I think that's why this project fits so well with the 211 model. They're a convener. They bring people to resources. And so what this project will aim to do is bring people to resources depending on the nature of why they're texting. We're gathering those in the field, those experts in the field, right? You're experts in this field. We're bringing those people together so that you can all have a look at this flowchart, provide feedback, and lend your expertise to the project, so that when we migrate off of a Word document and we put this into a workable text model, then that will have all of your feedback in it, and we can say this project has gone to those in the field who work closely with individuals who may be victims, and what we've learned from that has resulted in this text solution. And this text solution isn't meant to be a one-size-fits-all or perfect solution. The nice bit about what we can support, though, with the 211 architecture, the way 211s operate, is that we can have somebody text. They can choose an option like what you see here, and then we can give them some information, and we can, if needed, route them to a live text conversation at any point. So for instance, if you look in the section seeking help for yourself, well, that's going to be connecting straight to somebody. If they're in immediate danger, they feel like they're in immediate danger, then we're of course going to want to connect them immediately to support, and whatever that support represents, right, is a live agent, and then even bringing in the law enforcement. And so what we want to do is use text as a way for somebody who might be struggling with knowing somebody or being somebody, and they're just afraid that if they call someone on the phone that they'll be heard, or they're afraid that if they they reach out in sort of your more traditional ways, right, that will somehow blow their cover. There's this perception about text that has been researched now, and we can provide you with several research articles on this topic. It being that text, for whatever reason, is something that enables people to feel more comfortable talking about difficult subjects. Now, I can't think of, you really can't bring up a more difficult subject than human trafficking, sexual enslavement. All these things are supercharged, intense, and difficult to discuss. And so if it's text that gives that person the one channel, that one little way for them to reach out and ask for help, then that would be the tremendous benefit, right? Because it's that one way, that one channel that got that person to the help that they needed. And so what we're looking to do is today's session is to see, well, who's on board? Who in the field is on board with making sure the resources are right, making sure that we're saying the right things with the language, right down to, the actual words, that we're using in the text message, right? If you are in immediate danger, text 2 if you think you may be in danger and would like to know your options. So can the language be simplified, right? I mean, thinking about the audience, and then thinking about if you were going to text this resource and you were going to ask for help, what would you like to see? What would be easiest for you to read and understand? We're going to be sending resources as resources that are written out. So if somebody doesn't have a smartphone, they don't need to have web service or internet service to read the information on their page, on their screen. Sorry, and then we'll also send resources as hyperlinks so that it can go to your maps, or open up in your addresses and start a phone call immediate, things like that, right? That make it super easy to interact with. If you have a smartphone. If you don't have a smartphone, then you're still going to be able to click the phone, or you should be able to go over the phone number and somehow activate it or click it and make a call. But it'll be in written form, the address of the resource, anything that can be written out will be the equivalent, and that will be sent to everybody's phone. So when you get a resource, it'll be in those two formats. And then, what would you like to see happen with this project as it goes live, right? How would you like to use it in your market, in your area? Is this something where you would see, maybe cards or brochures or that sort of thing? I mean, we want to also be thinking about, well, once we have a working model, how then are we going to make this text solution available and in the hands of the people who potentially need it? So that's a whole other session that we'll have, talking amongst each other. Now, there is, for this particular session, I'm going to mention your name, who we have online, and so I will call you out, and I would like to hear from you. If you can, unmute yourself. If not, that's fine. I understand, we understand, but we do want to hear from you. And so if you're called upon, please tell us about yourself, what agency you're with, and if you've had a look at the document and your initial feedback on it. So we have Allie Burrows. Can you go ahead, Allie? Are you there? Can you unmute yourself?
Hey, Jonathan. Yes, this is Allie Burrows, and I work for Wellspring Living. I am the Community Integration Specialist, so I do intake for both our Women's Academy career and GED components, and I also do case management for some of the ladies that are in our career phase as well. And I have been able to look at the flow chart and everything there. I think that looks great, and I'll be glad to come back when we get to that part and talk through some thoughts.
Terrific. Can you tell us real quickly before you go away, tell us what a typical day is like for you? I mean, it doesn't have to be elaborate, but can you just tell us like a typical day?
I can. I will say too, the rest of the people on the call are all from Wellspring.
Okay.
As far as I can see, I know we had Jessica Rhodes was on here last time from City of Refuge, but I don't see anyone else. So I can speak for a typical day, and that would actually speak for everyone here.
Okay. Okay.
So what it looks like, we have our Women's Academy programming is a 10-week program for career and GED education. So we're here Monday to Friday. Our participants come for the day from 9 a.m. to about 3 p.m. We're a holistic program, so not only do we do career and business skills or GED education, but we also provide personal development classes, a fitness component, therapeutic services, case management, kind of all around care. So that wraparound service to make sure that each of those areas of a person are taken care of. So the cool thing about the Women's Academy under Wellspring Living, Wellspring does have residential programs, but the Women's Academy is a community-based program. So participants who are in our own residential facilities or other community residential facilities, or just general community members, they may have their own home, rent a home, they may be homeless. We're able to serve every one of them who may be at risk for human trafficking. So part of what my job is too is at initial intake to kind of evaluate for the risk factors someone might have. So we can serve people who are definitely victims of human trafficking, sexual exploitation, or even those that may have experienced different factors that make them at risk for them. We're definitely in the space too where we are, as a community program, we don't operate in that exact moment of crisis like this 211 text would look for. We would be more of the services after stabilization has taken place to go forward from there and be empowering to not have to end up back in that space.
Right. So maybe on option, if they select 3 and they are getting help for themselves, then if you think you may be in danger and would like to know your options for reporting seeking help, that would probably be somebody ahead of you or somebody before you. And then if they were seeking resources for survivors, that would be directly to you. Is that kind of how I'm interpreting that?
Yeah, so what I would say for Wellspring Living, and I'll get this to Marioli. Okay. I did look up what is listed for our services, and there are some updates we can make for minors and for women that are looking for more immediate care. Wellspring provides that, so there definitely is a contact that we can have there. But you're right, for the Women's Academy, it would be someone needing more services after being stabilized, or maybe looking for more of career readiness training or GED education, or maybe even searching under domestic violence related concerns. But yeah, you're right. Someone would come before us in that line of needing immediate care. Now,
for number 2, if somebody's concerned about somebody, right, that option 2, do you ever work with that third party that is trying to maybe get a victim or somebody who's a survivor to a more stabilized or more safe environment or lifestyle?
So, yeah, absolutely. So I've definitely had people call. They've seen the Women's Academy seeing that we serve survivors or those at risk, and seeing that we do either career or GED education. And I've had them call our intake line and ask me some more questions about that. It's really easy to refer people to our program. So even a third-party person getting our information is helpful to them, and they can work with their person they're thinking of to complete applications or find out more information, anything like that.
Okay. And then how is your caseload? I mean, are you guys overwhelmed, or is your caseload manageable, or is it, you know, one of the concerns that I was thinking about, I was talking to Marioli a little bit about this. I was thinking, you know, one of the things that this will do, of course, is generate more people potentially getting resources and seeking resources. And so we want to see and kind of get an understanding of, well, what kind of impact might that have then on those who would be recipients of those referrals. So can you speak a little bit about that, your caseload, and how that might work out, and if you just see this as just one more way that people will find us, but
yeah,
it is what it is. Okay.
What I would say is the way our program works right now, and based on our funding, we have one social worker at the GED campus and one at career, and then I serve at one in the apprenticeship phase of the program. But really, people come into either GED or career before they would come to that other phase of apprenticeship. So aside from that, basically we'll have 2 case managers, and it can hold up to 20 persons in each campus.
Oh, wow.
And so what I would say is that
that's amazing.
Being able to have the name out there and the resources out there is really important, because we still find plenty of people that have never heard of our program or don't know what we do. And when they do, they think, I don't know how, I've never heard about this, or I can't believe this program really exists. So I think it would be a great benefit to our programming. And then, of course, to just continue as we grow and continue to be able to expand our capacities. Being able to have those 20 seats in each campus filled every session would, of course, make for expansion to be able to serve more people in the future, too. So I think it would do nothing but be beneficial.
Good. And so help me understand then, if a referral comes your way, and if it's done through 211, do you usually know that this was a referral directly from 211, or is it sometimes not clear? Or
so on our application, it's a pretty simple application, and there is a space where it asks for the referral source. And speaking of 211, I actually just did an intake today, and she got her information from 211. So in her application, she did put on there the referral source was 211. There are other times that I know social workers or case managers or friends of whoever end up finding 211's information and then passing it on to that participant. And even though they've done that in the referral source, they usually say their friend's name or their social worker's name. But in talking with them, we might have found out that they actually got that information from 211.
Okay. And then how do you guys see yourselves as being people who would potentially maybe have materials on this project and information on this project, just being the role that you play, that you're in the community, that you would have access to potential people who would maybe have access to people who might need these services? Do you guys see yourselves as an agent of conveying this information, getting this information out as well, or how do you kind of see your role there?
I think I can speak to that a little bit. So this is Dion, who's speaking right now. How are you?
I'm great.
Good. So I am the case manager for the career track that Allie was telling you about. And I think that this information would be very useful for our program, and just within the interactions that I have with the ladies on a daily basis. So I know you were asking about, our day-to-day and just how it looks for us. For me, I have the opportunity to do like a daily check-in with our participants. I do a lot of one-on-one support, case management related, I'm pretty much involved in. So whether it's food, shelter, assistance with emergencies, I'm pretty much the go-to person for that. And in just thinking about this as a resource and how it can be useful for our participants, I could really see it being used and spread because, as Ali mentioned, you know, we do have participants who were once victims or at risk of being victims of trafficking. So that puts them in a situation where they may be in a community with women who are still victims or who are still experiencing some of these issues. And so I could really see option 2 coming in and playing a part, you know, because I do have ladies who come to me all the time who are concerned about someone else or thinking about, you know, what's happening in their community. And they could very easily use this as a resource to help someone else who may be going through something similar or something that they've experienced in the past. So I think it could really be used throughout our program as a resource, just along with the other resources that I already have. Because as you were saying earlier, you know, text is just more discreet, it's more private, it's more anonymous. So it doesn't feel like, especially with a sensitive topic like this, it doesn't feel like there's so much scrutiny on the person that's either experiencing this issue or just trying to report it for someone else. So being that it's a text option, I think it would really give people, I guess, that drive to go ahead and search for the information or just speak out about it without feeling like they're putting themselves in a dangerous situation.
Yeah. And then as far as like the face of the program, do you guys do a lot of media relations and things like that? I mean, do you have to is there a part of you that intervenes or has involvement with, say, local media, news, things like that? Do you guys get that kind of attention sometimes?
Jonathan, this is Salah Hilaire.
Hi,
and I am the program director of the Women's Academy.
Great. Nice
And
to meet you.
nice meeting everybody. Hi, Mary Catherine. I see she's on here.
Hey, Salah.
Hi. One of the things I just wanted to touch on was that you were talking about getting the word out in terms of in the community, and I just wanted to talk about, we have a position, our community engagement specialist, and what they do is they go out into the community speaking about Wellsprings and developing partnerships for either referrals as well as or also for some of our apprenticeship component of our program. And so as I was listening to what you were sharing, that would be an opportunity for us to support getting the word out about this app. Because not only just, as Dion mentioned, as well as Allie, our women are a lot of times will share the information within their community, their families, their friends. But also we are out in the community, and that could be an aspect or a piece that we could contribute to making this project successful in terms of having our community engagement specialist while she's out to talk about this.
That's terrific.
To the different partners.
So yeah, I was thinking about the fact that you guys are going to be the recipient of quite a few of the potential referrals that come out of, obviously, number 2 and number 3 choices. That it's almost like you can also be co-creators of this work, and that's what we really want you to feel like. We want you to feel like you can look over this flow chart, red pen it, do whatever you need to do to make it sing. This is important, and so being almost kind of like a part owner in this project, and so please feel free to do that. And then also with regard to that, the way the program it is launched, right, and it goes public, if you have ideas about that, right, because this is newsworthy. This kind of project would be something that would be very interesting for local news to pick up, and so, you know, especially at the launch, when we actually have the resource working and it's textable and it's, you know, we've got a little bit of collateral, maybe some takeaway cards, maybe a little brochure or something like that about it, and you know, at that point in time, there would be really a wonderful launch of it, and I could see there being some news and stuff that we'll want to go to, you know, I mean, the news are going to want to go to the place that has these wonderful programs for survivors and stuff, because it's in the end, it's hopefully a heartwarming story, right? I mean, in the end, that's what we all hope for, and I think that this project carries that with it. The things that you were describing that you guys do is just amazing, and I'm one of those people who would say, I didn't know there was those kinds of resources available. I didn't know there was that kind of work being done with these people, and just wonderful. It's absolutely terrific to hear, and really makes me feel good about this project and what we're doing with it. You know, makes me feel really strong about what we can provide, and ultimately it's the strength of the resources, the whiz bang of the technology. After that fades, it's what is behind it all, right? What's at the end of all of this? And so it's wonderful to hear from all of you. Thank you for speaking up. Did anyone else have anything to add at this point? Because I do want to have this, as I said, an open forum. And so if anyone else who has joined us, or if anyone has anything more to add that's already spoken, please feel free to do so now.
Jonathan, I have a question for you. Sure. With the flow chart. Is it better just to go ahead and edit on a document where it can be easily referenced, or to talk through that here?
If you have some initial feedback, I would say that putting it into the document itself is probably going to be the best way that we collectively, you know, go through it. Like what I can do, because this is how I can help this process, is if you guys create or add your edits to this document, this draft, we're calling it a draft for a good reason, that then what we can do is bring all of your comments together and then reconvene, and we'll put this document up with the comments in the document. And so that we can speak on the document with those comments on it, if that sounds good to everybody.
Yeah, so comment instead of trying to edit anything directly on the document.
I'm sorry. So go ahead and
edit on the document. When
we go away to that, go ahead and edit right in the document, and then send that either to Marioli or myself. And then what we will do is we'll schedule another follow-up session where we'll have the document with the comments in, and we'll put that up, and so that we'll be able to see your feedback, and then we'll have sort of a open forum at that point to make sure that everyone's in agreement with potential changes that we make.
So since we are all from Wellspring, all on the same team here, we can create one response document.
That's perfect.
Together. Perfect. My question would be, you know, I looked at that list that Marioli sent with all the other resources. Do they know this is going on? Have they been contacted by you all where they could also give this kind of feedback?
So we haven't contacted them. We first started contacting the partners that Mary Catherine works with, and obviously you guys were the only ones that responded. And yeah, so eventually I will be emailing the other agencies and try to get them to, I think, Catherine, correct me if you're wrong, you try to contact Salvation Army also, right?
Yes, I reached out to the Haven ATL program they have, and then Youth Spark as well, because we work with them a lot. And then City of Refuge wanted to have a representative here. They just had a really busy day and couldn't get here, so we're going to send them notes, and they still want to follow up and be involved.
Well, let them know, let any of them know, please, that they can add edits to this draft. And then, you know, we want everybody's feedback. So wherever they're from, we want to hear from them.
Yes.
Did you have any other updates, Mary Catherine?
That was really it. I did want to give you a little background about City of Refuge's program, because it's a little different than Wellsprings.
Sure.
They do have more of a safe house in that immediate crisis center. They don't have a lot of beds, but I think it's pretty regularly filled from what I understand. So I think there's definitely a need for more beds in that area where it's a safe house and it's an emergency bed for people to get into immediately off the street. And then they also have 3 phases of their program before they can move on to like a Wellspring program or permanent housing of their own. So they may have a little bit different perspective or different kind of ideas for the text flow, so that will be good.
That would be good. Terrific. So I think we've got all the bases covered. I mean, it sounds like we're moving this along. We've got feedback from the right people coming in, and we have some enthusiasm, it looks like, for moving it to the next step. I think we all concur.
Yes, and the other thing I was going to say to the Wellspring people, thank you for joining us. And again,
Thank you so much.
If you have any other partners that you want them to join this conversation, please bring them in. The only thing I can do is try to reach out to people and, you know, try to get them in, but maybe you guys have more leverage to get people to join us, because the more people we get, the more experts we get, I think it'll be better.
It is. It always is. And even if it's one tiny bit of feedback, sometimes it can really make a big difference, you know. And you know, it's the good part about this project, guys, is that we can refine what we have, and then we can create the flow and the text and make it work. And then we don't, you know, it doesn't have to go live, right? We can, I mean, it'll be live, but it won't be, we've announced it to, you know, the world that this project is now available. We'll have a period of time where we'll be able to evaluate it as we experience it on our phones, which will be nice. Go ahead.
Jonathan, I have one quick question. In terms of 211's experience, have you all gotten a lot of calls where people were in immediate danger? And
that's a great question. That's a great question. Mariola?
Here in 211, that I'm aware, no. We haven't gotten anybody that's in an immediate danger.
Okay, so this will be something new.
Yes.
Overall for 211.
But keep in mind, we do get people who may know somebody, and then that's how we get them the referrals that we currently have. Or even if they're thinking of getting out of it, we have the referrals. But that I'm aware of, because I hadn't answered the phone call, so sorry about that. But I don't believe we have gotten anybody who is in an immediate danger.
So what we're talking about is we're talking about somebody who might call 211 who is literally locked down in a situation where they're being held against their, that type of situation. Now, those people are probably calling 911, I would assume, right?
I would hope so.
Now, but this, you brought up a really good point. This text solution might be something that they would do instead of call 911, because if they thought that this would be a maybe safer or more discreet way, yes. So you're right. It might generate leads that didn't generate before because they weren't able to take it. Okay, I see.
And keep in mind that this is all going to be automated. they're not gonna be talking to anybody unless they choose to have live help.
Yeah.
So all these answers are gonna be automatic.
Right. So you'll be getting this information automatically just by texting it, but then you'll have the option to get live support. And if that request is made, then Marioli, one of her specialists, will open up in their text message application, have a dialogue with that person.
Okay, and they'll be trained on dealing with crisis.
Oh yeah, Marioli, that's a part of their work.
Our agents are trained, yes, on dealing with crisis situations.
Okay, I was just trying to get the back end as I looked, more into it. As a clinician.
It's a great question, and that's probably one of, like, if there's a hot area or an area, a part of this service that needs careful consideration, it's that right there. Yeah. It's the opportunity, excuse me, for somebody that uses this text option because they're actually in a horrifying situation. They're actually needing some support, and so we want to make sure that we're giving them right away information about calling 911 if they can. But if they can't, this is how they can have a conversation with an agent. So we'll pop them right into a conversation with an agent.
And sometimes they can't have a conversation, but they can text.
That they can't. You're exactly right, and that's why we'll say, hey, if this is your circumstance, you should be calling 911. But if you can't, here's an agent to text with you.
And you're welcome to come and tour our 211 contact center if any of you are interested in doing so. You can schedule a tour through me, and then
that might be a fun little field day.
Full disclosure, June is going to be hit and miss month with me, just because I'm going to be traveling quite a bit. So, like starting this week, it's like total hit and miss with me. So, you could schedule.
Are you going to go to Ayers?
But yes, I am going to Ayers, and then I'm going on vacation, and it's a whole mess happening in June.
Oh, jeez.
So you can schedule the tour and you can do it in June, but it won't be with me. It will be another manager or director doing the tour. But if you want to do it, just let me know the day and time, and then I'll get a schedule for you guys.
We would really like that. We're getting ready to have a break soon in between sessions, and it would be great if all the staff could come get a tour.
Yeah, that's fine. Again, just let me know the day and time that you would like to try to get it done, and then I could just pass it on to another manager for them to schedule it and be in touch with you about it, and then you can do it. I don't know how many people they can do on the tour at a time. I think it's at the most, I would say about 6 or 7, because we don't have all the agents in-house every day.
That would be fine. So
listen to phone calls.
Do I email you to begin that process?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Fantastic.
And thinking of you too, Marioli, if we have any updates to what Wellspring does that's listed on the 211 site, is that best to email you as well?
Yeah, you can email it to me, and I'll send it to Shannon. Shannon is the database coordinator. She'll do the update, but you can just initially send it to me, and I'll forward it over to her.
Okay, great. I'll do that today by the end of the day.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
And if you guys have any questions about this project and as we move along and stuff, please feel free to contact either Mary Catherine as well, or myself, and either one of us can answer questions about where we're at with things and how things are moving along, or and if you have any questions about the flow chart or need more details as you add your notes. Okay. And we'll provide.
Have any other questions?
we'll provide a list of all the people who participated today with email addresses and everything like that, so that we're keeping a record of that along the way. We're also recording these sessions just so everybody knows that it's for, you know, so that we have a record of these meetings and we can refer back to them. And I'll provide a link. I'll put it up as you can stream it. So if you want to have a look back over this session, feel free to. We'll send it around to the participants. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, guys. Well, thank you so much. And like I said, we're going to be in touch. We're going to follow up with an email, and you'll get an email from Mariella, you'll get an email from myself, and then the next, we'll schedule the next session. And at that point, we'll just look over what notes we've compiled and look over the feedback and agree to some changes, and then move on to the next phase. So thank you all again for your time and the work that you're doing in your community and being a part of this project so far. We're excited about it.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much, guys.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Have a good one. Bye-bye.